Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the Force Report. This is another Random Review Monday, the second one. I'm going to try to keep this going. So far, so good. I'm 2 for 2. As you can see, I've dug into the cabinet of Star Wars action figure goodness and retrieved this beauty from the Power of the Jedi line that ran from 2000, 2001, shortly before Attack the Clones came out. It was the line that was between Episode 1, which if you didn't see our Random Review Monday last week, it was an Episode 1 figure, Arigalia. The fact that this is Power of the Jedi has nothing to do, no timeline. We're not going to do an Attack the Clones figure next. But I grabbed the Scout Trooper from the Power of the Jedi line. You can see packaging similarities to Phantom Menace. I almost forgot the name of the line there for a second. A lot of the characters that were included in this Power of the Jedi line were ones that they didn't necessarily have a lot of slots to include. A lot of the Phantom Menace, a lot of the background kind of secondary figures. They included those. They included a lot of the original trilogy, some updates from the Power of the Force figures, and then something really cool, and you can see it here on the back. They included some expanded universe and concept figures. You can see the Darth Maul, the Sith Apprentice, that was based off of concept art for Attack of the Clones, or Phantom Menace rather, sorry about that. And then you can see up top here, the Jedi armor and Cold Weather Adventure, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan there. Those were based off concept art and expanded universe stories. So it was pretty cool that they included those two as kind of a precursor to the Ralph McQuarrie concept figures that were included in the 30th anniversary line, which is one of my favorite lines. But it's a good combination of old and what was new then. Figures that needed updated from the original trilogy, figures that needed a new take, maybe got accessories, and then expanded universe and background characters. Some of the features are this force file that they included with a lot of them. It's similar to the old Power of the Force, the flashback ones. I know Aunt Beru had one. Anakin had one. The old Anakin went from old Anakin to young Anakin. So, and it's kind of a little booklet that shows you all about the Scout Trooper, his weapons that he uses, kind of a short little bio. But this Scout Trooper comes in two different variations. This is the dirty one. You can see the weathering on the boots there. The armor is a little dirty. And then obviously it's easy to guess that the other one was a clean version, simply without those markings there. I don't know which one I'd prefer. I grabbed this off of eBay a few months ago, mainly just to include him in my Imperial army, but I haven't opened him for some reason, along with the dozens and dozens of other figures that are up in my cabinet. This is why we're doing the Random Review Mondays, to sort of get content for the channel and also to clear out the cabinet. So without further ado, let's bust this guy open and see what we got. So it was a very clean open. I don't know if reviewing the packaging is part of an official review. I suppose it is. I guess it only comes up when there's something really wrong with the packaging. Like the Force Awakens, the Vintage Collection has some of the separating around the bubble from the card. It really only gets brought up when there's something wrong, but in this instance, I really like the Power of the Force, or the Power of the Jedi line, just because of it's just a slim, clean, straightforward design. You can see kind of the contrast of old and new there with the Padawan Obi-Wan there and against Darth Vader. But it's just a very slim, clean package, and they looked good hanging on the shelves. This is one of the first lines that I do remember seeing in the stores, hanging on the shelves. He comes in a pretty simple bubble there, and then he's got his, you can see here, some of the gear that he uses. You can see he uses the speeder bike. He works closely with the AT-ST. I think that's simply because they were both featured in Return of the Jedi. I'm not sure where they're getting these, whether they're made up from a video game or what have you, but all sorts of information there for you to see. We could fill this out and join the Kids Quest Club as long as you fill out the pertinent information there. Bozeman, Montana. Parent or guardian signature required. So make sure you get your parent to log on for you if you're going to go on the internet. So other than the vintage Kenner figure, this is the first release, or the re-release rather, of the Scout Trooper. He was included with the Kenner stuff and his speeder bike, and this is the first time. You're not going to get much more articulation than that first one. You're going to get the 5 points. You're going to get the head, the swivel head. You're going to get the swivel shoulders. You're going to get the swivel waist, 6 I guess. And then you're going to get the swivel legs. So he's not going to sit on any, he's not going to sit on a speeder bike. That's the Power of the Force one, I guess. And now that I mentioned that, I do stand corrected. The Power of the Force Scout Trooper came out, but he wasn't single-carded like this. I guess that's what I was thinking when I first mentioned that. The one that came out with the Power of the Force was with a speeder bike, and he was in a perpetual sitting motion, and so there wasn't a single-carded version of that one. So he's got a working holster here with his Scout pistol. It's kind of a tight squeeze, but it'll go in there just like that. You can see a little bit more of his dirty boots. Strangely enough, only on the front side. He's got the peg holes with the date stamp, 2000. His, I'm guessing, shooting arm extends a little further. He's got a bent elbow on this arm, and his hand is a little, it looks like he's holding it in a shooting position, but it seems to be a little too open. Let's see what we got here. A little too open for the blaster, and his fingers really aren't positioned very well for that. Seems like it goes better in this hand. It's kind of a holdout blaster there. And then of course his head moves, hips move. About as basic as you can get for a Scout Trooper. Of course, there are a couple other versions that have come out since then, a lot of super articulated ones, some that's been included with the speeder bike, some without, some that comes flip-up visor that comes down. You can see a clone trooper face in there, or what used to be a clone trooper. It's the clone face. Ones that you have the Shadow Scout Trooper as well. That comes with the Shadow speeder bike. I know those are popular with the collectors. I know there was a Comic-Con exclusive Shadow Scout Trooper with the Shadow bike, or a New York Toy Fair or something was included with that. He stands pretty well. He's got kind of a wide base. There's not a whole lot you can do as far as action poses. He can kind of turn his head and he's pointing to apprehend some rebel scum there. Turn him there. I know a lot of collectors like to weather these a little more. They get the clean version and do their own weathering because it just seems like burn marks on his armor, and they're not really kind of rubbed out very well. They're all just sort of like someone put a cigarette out on this figure or something. The boots look okay. These dark marks up here, they look okay, I guess. I know people would get the clean version and weather it themselves to get a little more, but he makes a good addition if you're going to make some static dioramas. He makes a good addition to that. If you have some that are already seated on a speeder bike, you can kind of set these around them. You can have them arresting the rebels who get caught at the shield bunker. Overall, I give it a 6 out of 10. Not the greatest, but if you're just looking to populate your Imperial army, he's a good fit. I picked him up on eBay for, I think, $11. Your mileage may vary. It's free shipping. I've seen them around that price, anywhere from $10 to $15. I personally wouldn't pay $15 for this figure, just because I know a lot of the Imperials, the troopers are really popular. People like to have them, so that's kind of what drives the price up a little bit. But I've seen them at flea markets and vintage toy shops and stuff for much less. So if you can find them, definitely pick them up. Clean or dirty version, doesn't matter to me. Pick your preference and enjoy. This has been Random Review Mondays from the Force Report. Next Monday, we're going to try to do this again. We'll get another random review. We'll go up in the cupboard and see what we've got. But until then, take care, and may the Force be with you.